All right, as people join, let's go ahead and get started, get through some housekeeping items, and we'll hand it over to you guys. So welcome, everybody. This is your monthly ConnectWise partner-led virtual user group webinar. That's a long name. We're happy to have you here today, and we're happy to have Bobby and John joining us as they are going to show us some service magic and how can we bring death to the tickets. So how to bring some efficiencies, how to create an awesome customer experience. And I'm not going to spoil it. I got that fresh in my mind, right? Because we had a demo yesterday. So I'm very excited about the things that they're going to share with you today. So I'll let them do that. Before we head it over, this is partner-led sessions. So we are all partners in here. We're all ConnectWise user MSPs. The purpose of this is for everybody to engage. Make sure that you ask questions. I ask Bobby, I ask John questions. If you have anything related to when it comes to the user groups, I'm here. Michael's here as well. Scott's here. So we're all part of the advisory councils. We're all your facilitators. So anything that you have that relates to the user groups, just let us know. Make suggestions. We're always looking for topics. We're always looking for speakers, and we want to make sure that we make connections here because that is the best way for us partners to learn. It is actually from each other, from our experiences. We bring things like this, products that we are using that bring value to our organization. So please, please, please use all the different avenues to connect with us. We keep these things going. So today we have Thread joining us. For those of you who are in the Charlotte area, the user group, it is next Tuesday. So if you have not, registration is still open, and just go to the to university. And next week we have our open mic. These are just open sessions for everybody to come in, ask questions, comments. We can talk about anything. So we just get some time to hang out and just talk to each other. Oops, let me go back. Next month is IT Nation Secure. Again, registration is open, so it's all available on the university. We're going to have a virtual session on June 13. It's going to be all around marketing, how you can help drive marketing in your company. And always we going to have that open mic session. And Threads buying drinks at Secure. I just awesome. I was going to ask you guys if you're going to be there. So great. We'll look for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, drinks on Bobby, his personal card.
Ways to find out what's going on, join our Slack channel. So we posted this event in there. There's a lot of questions and comments that sometimes pop up in there. So it's a great way to keep the community engaged. So take out your phones, take a picture of this slide, or just scan this QR code. It will take you to the Slack channel. It's the partner-led channel. So all of the partners, all of the different user groups go in here. And that is how we keep all the updates on what is happening with the community. Like I said, registration is open for IT Nation Secure. Bobby's buying drinks, so don't miss that opportunity. And if you do not go to the user groups, that is a great way to win tickets to go to these events. So all the different user groups have been giving away IT Nations tickets. And once Secure is done, then we'll be giving away tickets for Connect. So there's always an opportunity in there. So make sure that you attend those. And that's another way to network and connect with other partners. Speaking of free pass,
I just want to be clear. I want to be clear. Hey, I'm questioning. I want to be clear. Bobby's buying drinks. That's what I heard.
Yes. It's actually if you go in the chat, it's been recorded, so it's been documented.
Awesome.
So speaking of free pass, MSP GeekCon, Bobby's gonna be there too. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I'll document it in the chat. We're buying drinks at both.
So there is an opportunity if you're thinking about going. It is coming up May 19th. over in Orlando, scan the QR code again. That should tell you not to put your phones away. There is an opportunity to win a free pass courtesy of DefenseX. So thank you, DefenseX, for sponsoring those. If you are missing it, let me do this. I think I still have that that link available. Yep. I'm going to put it in the chat. There it is. So get a chance to get a free pass to MSP Geek Con. Like I said earlier, this is all partner led. So we appreciate people's comments. We were always looking for partners that would like to talk, or if you have an idea or something that we'd like to present, or you would like for us to reach out to either ConnectWise or any of the vendor partners, we can do that and bring them over to these sessions to be part of the conversation. So if you wish to suggest any topics, use the Slack. You can connect with me via LinkedIn. You can email me. I know you get my emails. And if you have any topic that we would like to present, yes, just let us know, because we're always looking. So make sure that you use the chat to ask any questions. Everybody is off mute, so you can also just interact with us, ask any questions, but we'll be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, if you're shy and you just want to post it in there, let's just put it in there, and I will we'll read through it. If Bobby doesn't see it or John doesn't see it, we'll go through those so we can keep this interactive. So without further ado, we are thankful to have Fred here today. We have Bobby Jacobs and John Snyder here. They're going to present and talk about some of the awesome benefits, some service magic. And I wish I could move your mouth there, Bobby, and says, "Are you ready, kids?"
Aye, aye, Captain.
So, all right, guys, take it away.
Yeah, Juan, thanks for having us today. Excited to be here, guys. I'm at Evolve right now, so all in the ConnectWise world. Juan, do you mind if I share my screen? Did that jump over there?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, we're at Evolve, talking about service experience. Thread's a service experience platform. We think a lot about how to provide incredible experiences to end users, to technicians, how we can create service magic overall.
Hey, Bobby, are you sharing?
Oh,
I cannot see it.
Can you guys see my screen?
Me. It's just showing white, Bobby.
Huh. Okay, let me try that again. I'm on one laptop, so I need to move this over the top of it. Let me try this here. Cool. Anyways, my name is Bobby. I'm the head of growth here at Thread. I was with LionGuard for a number of years, so have gotten a chance to work with a bunch of MSPs. We'll really be digging into what great service experience looks like today, if and when my computer wants to cooperate. So working on that currently. John, you wanted to do a quick intro?
Yeah. My name is John Snyder, Bobby's right-hand man here at Thread. We worked together in the past at LionGuard. We're also worked at PAX 8, and I'm also here at Thread, so incredibly familiar with the channel, dedicating to working with you guys. Love working with MSPs, and so delivering service magic.
All right, how about that?
You got it.
Okay, awesome. So what is good service? We talk about good service a lot. This is going to be interactive. Please unmute your mics, talk in the chat. Want to hear what people are experiencing. I'm here to tell you that your service isn't as good as you think it is. Who here knows their CSAT scores? If you know your CSAT, can you put it in the chat or unmute and just say it for us? John, I can't see the. Yeah, go ahead, Daryl.
I say as of right now, for this quarter, it's 96.5.
Awesome. Love it. I can't see the chat. Tell me if there's stuff in the chat.
Nothing yet.
Anybody else? Anybody got Daryl B? Anybody not as good as Daryl?
We're in the mid 90s.
Awesome. 2 more out there.
Yeah, 94.7 for us. 96, Scott Peterson.
Cool. That's awesome. Has anyone lost a client in the last 12 months?
Yes.
Yeah, probably most people here. Churn is at an all-time high in the MSP space right now. It's also record growth, right? Everyone's growing, adding customers, taking some customers from other people. Most SMBs out there don't have MSPs, so obviously awesome time to be an MSP, but there is a lot of churn, and it's really hard to grow if you have a leaky bucket. Now, how could there be churn when everyone has a 95%, 98% CSAT? I'm at Evolve right now. I literally just got out of a boardroom. Everyone in that room had 98% and above. Every time I give this presentation, everyone says that they're 95% and above. And I think that it's just because CSAT is pretty much bogus, right? If you're at an Airbnb, how many times are you getting message saying, hey, make sure to give us 5 stars, make sure to give us 5 stars? No one stays at Airbnbs with lower than a 4.5 rating. If you have below a 4.8 rating as an Airbnb host, you're not getting guests. They're deprioritizing you. You can't be a super host. And so it's really 5-star or bust. With Uber, if you have below a 4.8, you're not getting drivers. And if you're a rider with 3 stars, you basically don't exist, right? You don't get rides. If you puked in the back, you have to use your friend's Uber because you're not going to get drivers anymore. Has anyone here ever had an Uber driver with 3 stars? They don't exist, right? Your account just gets deleted if you have 3 stars. Like, it's just non-existent. And so I just say that to say, like, it's good that you have a 95% CSAT, right? It's better than you having a 50% CSAT. But it doesn't mean that you provide an awesome customer experience, unfortunately, especially because typically only 18% of people respond to CSATs, which means it's already your most engaged customers and the ones that like you the most. Obviously, sometimes it could be someone who had a really bad experience, and that's when you'll get a lower CSAT. But generally, your favorite customers are the ones giving you 5 stars. And so we have to look beyond CSAT. We recommend thinking about NPS, Net Promoter Score. It's probably not a new concept to you guys. Something to try out. Something that a little newer concept that we're working with is customer effort score. And it's just asking your customers, hey, how hard was that experience for you? How hard was it for you to get support? Not how good was the support, how hard was it? Did you have to go through multiple methods? Did you have to wait? Did stuff get buried in your email? Did something not work the right time? We find people are a bit more honest when it comes to customer effort score, but people still aren't going to, provide perfect feedback. And so how do you differentiate if every MSP has over a 95% customer experience, but you're still losing customers? Most people that I talk to would say, well, we provide awesome phone support. We answer the phones right away. If someone calls in, we answer. It gives them a great experience. Our customers want phone support. It's the best. How could you do anything better? And what we would say is your customers, the only way that they can get good support from you is the phone, because the other option is email. Maybe you do a portal or something like that, but generally the only good support MSPs provide is phone. So the customers have been trained to say, I want phone support. I need to be able to call in and have you answer the phone right away. Just like if you're at church, the secret answer is Jesus. Here with Thread, the secret answer is always chat support. So if you're able to provide a different way for your customers to reach you, and that you can work with your customers in an integrated way, then you can start to provide different experiences that may have some different benefits there. So it's really hard to scale though, right? If you have instant phone support, you're going to have to hire a lot more people. You're going to have, do you have level 0s who don't know what they're doing and they can answer the phone right away? Or do you need level 1s and 2s who they can have immediate closes? It's really hard to figure out how to scale efficiently and profitably. Most people on the service desk feel something like this guy here, right? He's getting hit with phone, email. There's probably your CEOs getting texted on their cell phones. There's people messaging in Teams. It's not landing on the ticket. We say death to the ticket. That's why we're pirates. We think tickets are a terrible way to treat people, and they're largely to blame for this type of experience. And so we want you to be able to provide Service Magic, something that looks more like this, that's more streamlined. We have a calculation for Service Magic. We find that it's customer times communication times team. That equals Service Magic. When all of this is aligned, when everything's landing on the ticket and you're not having to work on tickets, you can experience Service Magic, and Service Magic leads to profit. So how do you do that? Well, it starts with having a really good service desk and having things aligned really well. A cheat code that we're seeing people put into place, and you guys may already do this, is empowering your dispatchers to close tickets, especially if you have tools that are doing like auto password resets and some of those types of things. You can have your level zeros closing those tickets, or even bringing in maybe a really good customer facing level 2 tech on specific ticket types that you know are going to be quick closes, so that you can just knock those tickets out quickly. Your customers get an awesome experience, and you never really had to dispatch or triage those. We also recommend standardization on verticals and having pods focused on those. If you have more than 12 techs, that's when we see that you should definitely have pods. May make sense before that. I'm sure this stuff isn't new to you, but just where we're seeing a lot of MSPs win right now. All right, so a few different ways that you provide support, right? There's stuff on phone, email, portal, and chat. Again, the secret code for us is always chat, but just thinking about how do you provide support, there's some benefits to phone, right? Good time to respond, good time to resolution. You're going to close your tickets quickly, but it's super expensive. Then you have email, which is really just where everything goes to die. It's a bad experience, but it is affordable. I'm interested, does anyone here use portals, things like Cloud Radial, Desk Director, and Verisoft, ConnectWise customer portal?
We use Desk Director.
Cool. And do you find that like do you get a lot of usage out of Desk Director?
We have recently, we've been pushing into it and trying to train our clients to use Desk Director. We feel right now it's one of the better ways to actually get service from us.
Awesome. Yeah, we find customer portals are really good for site contacts, especially if they're needy and they want like all types of insight and all types of different resources. Customer portals are awesome. They're super thorough. You can see all the tickets there. But to your point on training your customers, people typically aren't going to go somewhere that they're not spending their time. Again, secret answer for us is integrated into Microsoft Teams or Slack. That's where people are spending their time. That's where they want to get support. The customer portal is somewhere else, and it is really hard to get someone, especially when they're stressed and they need support, to remember to go somewhere else. So that's where we pair really nicely with portals. They provide all the super deep resources and insights to the site contacts, and then we help you meet customers right where they live through integrated chat support. All right, so with that, I'm going to transition over to John. He can tell you a little bit more about what Thread actually does.
Yeah, so there's two primary means of communication today, phone and email, right? There hasn't been much innovation in the way that MSPs communicate with their customers basically since the inception of managed services, while the way that businesses communicate internally has massively transformed in the last few years with the evolution of Microsoft Teams and Slack, right? It's so much more efficient for our day-to-day communication to live within quick, fluid, message-based communication, right? And so phone, you're still kind of trapped into a single conversation. The customers feel connected, which is really why they're going to that medium of support. It's because they feel heard in that given moment, but everyone is burning time. If I were to try to place a late lunch order right now to Torchy's Tacos down the street, they would tell me stop calling here, right? Because they're trying to be more productive than being on the phone really allows, which is what most businesses are trying to achieve today. Email, on the other hand, is a more process-focused way to be able to provide support, but it's not the most efficient, as well as it's not a good customer experience, right? We dress like pirates, we run around, we yell death to the ticket because we don't think a ticket is any way that someone should be treated. We think that's an incredibly transactional way to interact with a person, and that's not really how people want to be treated. Also, with the evolution of Microsoft Teams and Slack, people are starting to deprioritize their external facing email inbox, right? You prioritize your Slack, you prioritize your teams, because those are the people that you work with on a day-to-day basis. Outlook has become more of the external facing place of communication. So it's becoming harder than ever to get customers to respond over email. And a phrase that I coined from one of our partners is the loop of inconvenience. Someone calls in for support, you have to call them back. They don't answer, you send them an email, they don't respond to the email, and you're just trapped in this cycle of trying to get people to respond to you so that you can fix the problem and close out the ticket, which is driving up time to resolution across the board for MSPs today. So we want to solve for that and be able to allow you guys to deliver more magical experiences. So we talk a lot about service magic, service experience. Bobby, if you can go to the next slide. So service experience to us is improving both ends of the experience, right? We want to improve how your customers are able to receive and experience support for you guys in a way that's more comfortable, a more positive, connected interaction, while giving your team a better way to be able to interact on their side as well through automation, AI, being able to work in real time. So we want to improve experiences all around so that the most impactful change happens downstream for the customer, which is what we're really fanatical about at the end of the day. So at our core, we're fully integrated chat support. So we meet your customers in the context in which they work, where they are prioritizing responding to. So we tie into your customers' Microsoft Teams, their Slack, their desktop, if you want to meet them there, inside of your website, wherever you want to meet your customers, we want to enable that. We want them to be met where they want to be met so that you guys have the most impactful interactions with your customers. On your side of the house, we want to fully integrate with ConnectWise. So we want to enable your team to be able to provide amazing support experiences without having to worry about the tedious upkeep that is involved with managing a ticket in the PSA. So we want to automate that ticket in ConnectWise so that your team is just working. They're not worrying about the notes. We also want to solve for another major failure point of most chat software that came before us, actually pretty much all chat software that came before us, which is we don't want to require a separate portal for just this medium of support. We want to be impactful. We want to transform the way that you're able to communicate through all mediums. So we make sure that your team can work all tickets from the same place, and we do that through one of two ways. So there's two experiences that make up Thread. If I can get the next slide, Bobby. There's Messenger, which is the end customer experience. So this would be the white labeled application that you would deploy out to your customers inside of their Teams environment or into their Slack, on your website, on their desktop. So Messenger is just anywhere that you open the line of communication for your customers. On your side of the house, we have Inbox. So Inbox exists because ConnectWise is not real time. It requires a constant flurry of saving and refreshing to be able to work through a single support request, which is foundationally inefficient, right? And that's a compounding inefficiency that just builds up over time and takes up a large amount of time. So we enable you guys to be able to work in real time through Inbox without having to work through that constant saving and refreshing. Inbox is a place for all mediums of support. So email tickets, phone tickets, you can intake there as well as your chat-based tickets. So let's go ahead and hop into Thread. Let's look at some fun software now.
Questions, thoughts at this point, guys? I know we go quick. Feel free to jump in, disagree with us, whatever.
I only have one thing that I've kind of been mulling on here. I think that the idea of using chat is great. I wish we were using it here. We haven't gotten there yet. But I'm starting to, like, over the last, say, couple of years, I've been starting to get more concerned about the image of chat, because I don't know how many of you have had to deal with support for a large company like, say, Amazon. Their chat is terrible. The chat bot that they integrated into it is terrible. And I know this is not that, but I'm slightly concerned about some of the negative visuals that are going to start coming around chat, because it's turning into the same thing as the phone support, where you have to spend a half an hour answering, generic flowchart yes or no questions before you can actually get to something meaningful.
Yeah, people love Amazon chat whenever it gives you free stuff without you having to really interact with someone, right? That's a negative experience. We're really thoughtful with the way that we've built out the way that Thread Messenger works. We want to make sure that, and that's a large part of like service experience, is we're not just creating chat, we're creating a more impactful way for your team to work as well, so that it's more effective on both ends of it. And whenever we're
Yeah, but
Go
to
ahead,
your
Bob.
point, I mean, chat is a bad experience almost everywhere. And the main things about that is we actually just did a webinar a few weeks ago called "Should AI be chatting with your customers?" And our answer was no. AI is not at a point where it should be chatting to your customers today. We don't do self-service bots. We don't do click-throughs trying to get more closes. Like that is a bad experience, and that's what almost all chat is today. And then when you get to someone, they need to know what they're talking about, which is why you guys are set up really well to provide good chat support, because you have a service desk of knowledgeable technicians. And so chat, you guys are really primed to offer good chat support. I mean, as far as your customers maybe viewing chat negatively, we have some really good resources that you can provide them with to show them how Thread works. But it's just telling them like, hey guys, this is the one great chat support out there that you'll have.
Yeah, that's kind of where my point is. It's like, most of us have customers who do have the phone number. They can call and they can get somebody on the phone. So convincing them that, hey, when you get on the chat, you're still getting a person. That's the one hurdle I can think that would be make it a little slower for our customers, our clients to adopt.
Absolutely. And we actually do a lot of like framing too around like the way Thread is presented to your customers. Like if you look at my screen here, the word chat is not in the Messenger box. So let's talk through Messenger so you can see how it works as well, to just paint that picture. So this is the white label Teams app. This would have your company's logos, your branding, your imagery. They would know and love it as your company's application inside of their teams. That is a place for them to open up and engage support requests. So you can have any sort of links you want to have listed here, like how to call you for in the event of an emergency, knowledge base articles, how to use the experience, you name it. And on the right, this is the actual Messenger experience, is this box here. So I, as the end user, can see any of the tickets that are associated with my contact in your ConnectWise, whether I'm the one that opened them or I'm a CC on the ticket. So if I click into one of these prior conversations here, I'll see a back and forth. What this back and forth is the discussion notes from ConnectWise put into a nice, pretty chat-facing UI for the client to engage with further. So these can be open from anywhere. They don't have to be open from Thread Messenger per se. They can start from an email, they can start from a phone call and transition this way if that's convenient for the customer. And you can see here to open up a new conversation, so a new support request, we say new request. Right? There is more chat language if you guys want to go that direction, but here it's presented as a request that they're opening for you guys. So we have a mantra, so to speak, of meet people where they work, right? Like that's where we feel like that's our secret sauce for having amazing customer adoption rate, is that we meet people in the context in which they're already working. So sidebar application in Teams is great, but we're fully aware there's plenty of people that use Teams that don't even go into Teams and they just live and die in their chats. And so we want an experience that's comfortable for those people as well. So we would also deploy a user that's branded as your company that will live in their chats here in Teams, that anytime they open up a support request with your team, they'll get a new ticket confirmation from the bot here. It'll send their own correspondence here as well if they used anything outside of this direct message to open up the new service request. And then as your team responds, it'll adopt your team member's name and send any notes that get added to the support request here for them. If they respond here in the direct messages, it'll log straight to the ticket in ConnectWise. So they have fully the ability to live here if this is a more comfortable experience than inside of the application for them. Now, let's come here. Let's open up a new request. So the greeting here is fully customizable. This is just our default greeting of, hi there, how can we help you today? I'll go ahead and open a new request. I'll say, hey, we have a new employee starting today. Can you please onboard them? Right? Classic end user waiting for the day of to tell us they just hired somebody. Method actor here. So we can see here, we get a confirmation with the ConnectWise ticket number. So it pulls the next ConnectWise ticket number into session. We will also check this contact in ConnectWise for there being any devices associated with it. So the end user has the ability to go ahead and tag their device to the ticket for you guys to knock that step out of the way. So it's not relevant here. I'm going to hit none of the above. Now, a status tracker has appeared. So we take a lot of inspiration from Domino's Pizza. The Domino's Pizza tracker is an incredible customer experience, and we want to give people that experience with their IT support. So this helps them feel connected to where they are in the process of receiving support from your team. So it's currently in a receive state. The next mile marker from here is assigned. So whenever the support request is picked up by an engineer or it's been assigned out, they'll see who it was assigned to. There's no way of them picking an individual technician to work with. They have to live within your process. And then after assigned, it's responded. You're kind of off to the races from there. It will reflect any in-between statuses that you apply to it from your ConnectWise statuses until completed. A large piece of this too is managing expectations, right? A common anxiety with like the typical web chat is if I click away from this page, it dies, right? And then I have to start all over, and that's not a good experience. That's one of those kind of negative chat experiences. And so since this is living in Teams, this lives in perpetuity until the support request is completed. We remove that kind of anxiety from the equation, and they can see where they are. They can come back here at any point in time. It's managing the same expectations that they would have from any other Teams conversation. So let's hop into Inbox. So this is Inbox. Inbox is our beautiful purpose-built place to provide amazing support. It's a fully real-time interface. It's an updated UI for your team to be able to work out of. And this is for all support requests from support requests that are initiated from Teams, email, intake phone tickets from here, you name it. This is an all-encompassing place to interact with your customers. Now, I'm in my inbox here. My inbox is any of the support requests that are assigned to me. So one of the core business values of being able to have chat or message-based communication with your customers, and this transcends the MSP world, this is businesses in general, is that you can typically handle more than one conversation at a time because it's such a load lift and having quick, concise interactions. So the ConnectWise UI, it's not great for multitasking, right? It's got long loading screens. You're in single windows for each support request. So we have built Inbox with that in mind so that you can very easily flip between, look, I'm flipping through 7, 8 different service requests in a matter of seconds to where it's a really fluid interaction that you can move between your day-to-day with ease. We have channels here. The channels are like the ticket views in ConnectWise. They're better because they're based off of real-time workflows. So you have the ability to have your service requests organized in really any way that you'd like. The workflows can have any number of different inclusions or exclusions to include here. So as you can see, just some examples that we built out are P1, P2, contact type being VIP, triage, the different status-based ones. We see a lot of our partners creating a channel for each pod or member of the service desk. So you can see like, what is Brian working on? What is Mike working on, etc. So really free form, however you guys want to work. Whenever you're a member of a channel and a new support request flows in, it pops up at the top of your screen here for you to be able to accept and pull it off if you're working in a first in, first out methodology. If you guys saw, we had a really big release in the past week that just went live into a closed partner beta, is our planner functionality, to where any new tickets that come in will land in our triage board here, to where you can drag and drop and assign it to any members of the service desk, and you can schedule it out from here. So if I were to drag and drop it on someone, it would then give me the ability to select a time and day that we want the support request being worked. A lot of our partners leverage different methodologies around scheduling out service requests. So we want to have a really nice interface here inside of Thread for you guys to be able to do that. It syncs with the ConnectWise calendar, which then syncs with Outlook. So you have the full scope of availability being reflected here.
Does it send out messaging saying, hey, this was scheduled?
It will reflect on the ticket. It will reflect in Messenger the scheduled
Yes.
time in there. Yes.
Yeah, the short answer is yes.
So it looks like Kelly picked up our request here. Whenever someone picks up a service request, it will reflect it on the end user side that they've been assigned and they'll be with them soon. I'll actually come here. Let me pull it off from Kelly. And I'll assign it to myself here. So whenever you're assigned a service request, you'll be able to see the end user, their name, and where the service request came in from. So we can see Michael Bolton chatted in here saying, hey, we have a new employee starting today. And Magic AI has kicked off. So Magic AI is our AI assistant. So we want to make sure that your tickets are in the right place at the right time every time. So the AI reads all incoming support requests and will automatically prioritize and categorize the issue for you. We leverage OpenAI GPT-4 to be able to accomplish this. We've gotten an absolutely amazing amount of recognition from the OpenAI team. One of the ways that we differentiate is we are the easiest AI tool for an MSP to onboard. For us to start auto-prioritizing all of your tickets, it takes a matter of 5 minutes of filling out a quick survey around impact, urgency, onboarding, and offboarding, so that we can learn how you guys work and then apply it to your incoming service requests. And then you can add any sort of custom rules here to fine-tune the way that your customers need to be handled. And you have an emulator here on the right where you can test any incoming messages. Like if I want to validate these offboarding rules, I'll say, looks like we are letting Milton go. And even though I'm using an idiom here of looks like letting go, we can still tell that from Magic AI that this is talking about someone getting terminated. Categorization, very simple as well. We pull in your boards. We adopt whatever types you guys use, whatever types, subtypes, and items you guys are using today. You give each type a brief description to where it can get the relative scope of what that type falls under, and then subtype and item are self-explanatory for the AI. So let's go ahead and give Michael Bolton here some support. So I can type out a response for Michael Bolton. I can also use snippets. Our snippets are like the default notes in ConnectWise, but they're better in a couple of different ways. They're fully customizable, as well as they are able to pull variables from the contact, from my contact. They can pull the ticket number. You can create some really amazing responses here. So I have a new hire snippet keyed up that I'm going to use, and I'm going to kick out to the customer. So I responded here. TimePad started tracking my time. Time entries are a major pain point in the MSP world, right? They're a necessary evil to have accurate reporting on profitability against customers, as well as billing. And so it's really difficult to get the average tech to properly do their time entries. And so we want to fully automate those from nose to tail. And so this is the first interaction of that. Whenever you respond to a customer, TimePad will start tracking your time. Michael Bolton here got my response. I can see TimePad tracking my time, and I've got the ConnectWise ticket fields here on the right. So if I need to change anything from here, I absolutely can. So if I need to change what agreement this is associated with, if I need to change what board it's on, it's just a quick drop down. So I'll change this to this monitoring agreement. If I need to go into ConnectWise for anything, we do have the ConnectWise ticket number here. Once you click that, it pulls you into manage, and you can see that everything is happening in unison in ConnectWise as I've been working here. So this ticket is completely filled out. We can see the type, subtype, item, priority have all been set. We've got the discussion notes being logged. So you have the back and forth automatically being captured on the ticket. We want your team to have these quick, fluid interactions without worrying about ticket upkeep. So this is our first interaction of doing that. And this pod here gives you essentially inbox as a real-time iframe built into the ticket and manage that it's completely real time. So if I respond here as the customer, you'll see the response pull here without me even having to refresh. So I'll say, hey, John, thanks for the response. I don't have time to fill out your form. Can you fill it out for me? So Manage is already getting these updates in the pod here to where I can have full real-time chat on the ticket. Now, Michael Bolton here, he's being a little bit lazy, right? Classic end user. They don't want to fill out these beautiful forms that we built out for them. But thankfully, I've got Chat with Magic. So most of your team is probably using ChatGPT on a side monitor today to augment some of their workload, right? Like asking it to write out emails, troubleshooting tips, writing scripts, things like that. And so we want to give them the ability to do that straight on the ticket. So we have Chat with Magic that has the full run of the ticket for context. So I can ask Chat with Magic here anything that I really needed to do. So I'm going to ask it to draft a response. I'll say, can you draft a response asking for the info I need to onboard a 365 mailbox? As soon as I hit send here, Chat with Magic will read the interaction and it drafts a response. So you can see I'm talking to Michael. Hey, Michael, sure, I can assist. So it's taking into account that it asked for my help, and then it writes out what I need to set up the 365 mailbox. So I'll copy, I'll paste. We're moving and grooving here. This comes through on Michael's side. I'll say, this is for Frank at Initech.com. He is in accounting. Now, my good friend Michael Bolton here, he's not our site contact. I can't just start ordering licenses and setting things up based on Michael Bolton chatting in. So I need to collaborate a little bit more. So I can rope in my site contact here to get a quick approval. So I'll mention Bill Lundberg here. I'll say, Bill, can you please approve this new hire? Adding Bill to the conversation here now ropes Bill inside of his teams so that Bill can give me that quick approval here to where he can say, okay, you got it. Amazing. Being able to work so quickly. So I'll say, thank you, Bill. I can also collaborate internally here. So I can honestly collaborate in front of the customer if I wanted to, but we can also work on the internal notes and ConnectWise to keep it between us friends here. So I can mention Bobby and say, Bobby, can you please order an E5 from PAX 8 for this new hire? Now, Bobby's notified in inbox. He is added to this service request as a resource. So you can see he's up there now. Bobby also just got a direct message in Teams. So we want to allow you guys to be able to collaborate in your teams as well, because that's where you guys live. So Bobby's already all over it. Thank you so much, Bobby. Our companion integration allows you to send tickets to your teams as alerts here. So you can filter these out into any number of different Teams channels that you want to, and these are fully interactive. So you can change who the support request is assigned to. You can change what board it's on. Our bot here will keep this post up to date with any and all interactions happening on the ticket. So you can see the AI kicking off. You can see the back and forth between Michael and I. This was actually the first piece of software that our founders built, was being able to have this functionality, because they rolled out Slack at their MSP, and that was the day that good notes on the tickets died. Everyone was just sending each other direct messages in Slack without properly documenting it on the ticket. So they wanted to give their team a place to be able to have those fluid interactions and it automatically document in ConnectWise. So if you guys have conversations here on this post in your teams, you will it will automatically log an internal note in ConnectWise against your member. So you have that automated tracking of what's going on. And whenever I mentioned Bobby from Inbox, it sent Bobby this post as a direct message in Teams, letting him know, hey, you were mentioned on this, and he can give me an amazing fast response right here from Teams. I know this feature is kind of its own side quest because it was originally a separate platform for us. So I just want to pause here. Any questions around being able to collaborate inside of your teams? And I need a coffee break. Awesome. So Bobby told me he's done. Now, maybe Bobby, maybe I had to escalate this, right? We have another AI workflow that you can really point at anything. In this demo environment, I have it pointed at the escalation status. What this does is whenever I set this ticket to escalated in ConnectWise, that causes Magic AI to read the full run of the interaction and log an internal note with a brief summary of everything that has happened so far. So often you're getting an escalation. Things have been going on for hours, if not days, before you get eyes on it. And you don't want to have to go back and read everything, right? So this gives you that brief synopsis of what has gone on so far so that you can come in with a strategic plan in mind. So Magic AI dropped off that the full summary here, but we're in a good spot here. I can go ahead and let the customer know we're good to go. So I'll say, okay, you should be good to go here. Now, this is all also living in the chats, right? Like we push every response to their direct messages in Teams so that their cell phone, their desktop, everywhere they work is getting a push notification whenever you guys respond. So you're getting those much faster customer responses on your side. And I can respond here and it's the exact same experience. So I'll say, thanks so much, John. You're the best. Michael Bolton, always so kind to me each and every time. And as you can see, it logged straight to the ticket. It went, it came here from the support experience. It looks the exact same. So let's go ahead and close this out. So I'll say /status closed. But look at that. I'm a silly guy here. I forgot to do my time entry. So I tried to close the ticket out without doing a time entry against it. And Inbox is giving me a friendly reminder here. Hey, you forgot to hit submit. The one manual piece with doing a time entry with Thread is actually a submission. So Magic AI will then read the conversation and write out my time entry notes for me. So it will read the interaction. It'll understand what I did from my perspective and write out appropriate notes for me. So it can tell I requested Michael to fill out a form, offered to assist, asked for the employee's information, requested approval from Bill Lundberg, requested E5 order from Bobby, confirmed that everything's good to go. We see that this saves our partners 2 to 5 minutes per ticket. I was telling Juan yesterday, people come for the chat, they stay for the time entries. This is really huge. It's a big bandwidth lift for most people, not having to worry about like a lengthy time entry process, as well as managing people to do time entries is probably even worse than doing them themselves, right? Because then you're worrying about someone else's work getting done, which is not great. So we want to be able to fully automate that for your team. So I'll log that as a resolution, hit submit and close. That then logs my time and then closes out the ticket since it stopped me from doing that. And then once it's closed, we'll get some confetti. We feel good about ourselves. So we're working towards inbox 0 here. It's really great about perspective. So if Bobby were to have done a time entry as well, I would see his time entry here as well. But if Bobby wrote a Magic AI time entry just off of him saying all over it done, it would write out ordered an E5 from PAX 8 per John's request for Frank or something along those lines. So with minimal context, it's able to automate the time entry as well. And you can do as many time entries per ticket as needed. So like say I was working on this support request and then I kick it over to Bobby. I'm probably going to actually do a time entry at that point because this is very unlikely that like no provisioning issues would happen and it's just going to be this fast, right? So I would then do a time entry. I come back, start working again, restart the timer, and then Magic AI knows to write the notes from the point of the last time entry. Another massive benefit here too is if you're doing any sort of like manual additions, as you can see, if I type here, it saves drafts with each keystroke. If you've ever tried to save a time entry and ConnectWise blocks you, it's pretty annoying. So we prevent that from happening, because if you try to save, something's changed on the ticket, you lose everything. Now, going back into ConnectWise. So everything's up to date here on the pod, but the ticket is still not reflecting all the changes that have happened just because of the nature of ConnectWise. So I'll hit refresh here, and then I can see that the ticket's in perfect order, that we've been able to automate the back and forth between the client and I, logging on the ticket. So you can see the full conversation lands here. You've got the internal notes, you've got the resolution, the time entry, and the time on the time tab. And I put forth about the same amount of effort I would have if I were just having a Teams conversation with this person. And I was able to have a ticket happen in perfect detail. So we want to give your team the easiest way for them to be able to work so that they can just focus on providing amazing experiences. We want to meet your customers where they're already working so that you're having that great experience happen for them. Your customers are more interactive with you guys. They're having better experiences, and it's more efficient. We see that when an end contact uses Thread Messenger to engage their MSP, that contact requires 21% less resource hours on average. So that significantly lowers your cost of giving service to your customers from a labor standpoint. We also see that when an end customer uses Thread Messenger to open up a service request, it's a 71% chance the rest of their tickets are going to live from there. So that's an indicator from us from a really strong customer experience. You can also workflow your CSAT surveys to kick out as soon as you hit close into their Teams chat. So we see when our partners do that, we're seeing about a 40% increase in response rate. So now we can get some real data associated with CSAT whenever we're doing that, because you're meeting them in a place that's way easier than an email that they're very likely to ignore. And that's my quick run here. I know I kind of speed rounded you guys, but
I have a question about the time entries.
Yeah.
So can you just switch back to the Teams part?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's working, when they have this, they have multiple tickets that they can work on at the same time from the technician standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
They can see in the other screen. This is the
MSP Teams view.
The MSP, the portal for the MSP guy.
So in Inbox?
Inbox, yeah. So
Cool.
if he starts the timer on multiple different tickets and the timer keeps on going, do you get overlapping time entries, or is it keeping track of each one that he's working on, and then it's only going to start the clock when it's actually active? So when he submits the time entry, it'll give you the amount of time that he actually worked on that ticket.
So the only piece that we really don't have the ability to automate is stopping the time. It's really a case-by-case scenario on how you guys want to work. Because let's say if we were to even try to stop the time, if you guys move to a different tab, right? You guys are likely working on the issue still. And so the timer does keep running if you guys move away from the screen. If you need to make any quick inline edits, you can. Like, let's say I let this really get away from me and it's actually 30 minutes, like you can quickly edit the time to reflect. But that is something that would still lay in your court, is just making sure that it's not overlapping or the submission isn't happening and that the time is keeping is accurate there.
So it will still potentially create overlapping time entries.
Potentially, correct.
Okay.
And there's also a good chance that they are actively working on multiple issues if they're flipping between two different conversations.
Yeah, but if they can't be working on two things simultaneously, so you end up with overlapping time entries, and in the day they can end up booking 10 or 12 hours because they have all these overlapping time entries, which we then have to run a report and try and clean up after the fact. So that's okay. I just was wondering if it somehow had a way of addressing that when this ticket didn't become the sort of the focus, then it kind of pauses the timing, and then when it comes back to being the focus, then it restarts the timing.
Yeah, not yet today. It's definitely something that we hear from our partner base, and it's really like a unique case by case basis on how people see the way they want it to be handled. And so it's something we're actively seeking product feedback on today.
Yeah, or even if when they change the focus to like another thread, it pops up something saying, "Hey, you have a time entry moving. Do you want to close that time entry and submit it?"
Right. That would definitely be a valid way to go about it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Scott, you have a question?
Yeah, again, on the time entry there, where you have it consolidates everything in your inbox there, and then it writes it to ConnectWise. Is there a way, because that's the information that's going out on the invoices. In our case, it does. And we normally type up our things. Our boss likes it in a 3 parts. You at the top you have your summary and your signature, and then the bullet points. Is there a way that can be done within your thing, so it'll create a "Hi, Joe, glad you we were able to fix your problem, and we were able to do this" signature, and then those bullet points below there?
So you can always add to it. Like if the generated time entry happens, like you can do line breaks, then start like typing in any of the niceties that you guys want to have above that very easily.
Okay, yeah, because that's just something that because we use ConnectWise for the closed loop all the time too, and it's just something that we we get hounded for, is making sure everything's going out. You get most people read the top part; they could care less about all those bullet points.
For sure. And we also see that, like, I've had people tell us that they used to work like that, but now that they're interacting in a much more personal way already, there's less of a requirement for those like super personal touches at the end of the closed loop, because you're more connected with the way that you're interacting with them, and it's less transactional as it is.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Do you see, this is Justin, do you see partners changing their staffing if they shift from email to more chat-based? Typically clients expect more immediate response from chat or phone, and do SLAs change and staffing need to change to appropriately respond to that? A lot of times email will be a longer SLA, say an hour or 2 hour to respond to an email versus phone calls, 60-second answer time, right?
We typically see just kind of like a self-implemented response time that our partners will like have their team try to meet, like try to meet like a 5-minute response time, which typically happens organically, which is the way that Inbox works, and how you're able to quickly hop into a request and say, "Hey, Mike, I see this. We'll get someone on this." But SLAs are still SLAs typically. Like we don't see that adjusting from our partners.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm at time. I'm out of time here, Juan.
Oh, you're good. If there's questions, keep going. Are there any questions? With my dispatcher this morning, and the only thing she asked was, like, right now with email, right, when we send out that email that your ticket has been completed, survey and all that, a lot of times they go, it can be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they think that they can just take that email reply back, which tries to trigger to add more notes to the email. Does that happen in here as well, that somebody can go to an old chat that has already been closed and then try to keep chatting just to not necessarily reopen the ticket, but thinking that they're going to start a new session?
Yeah. So whenever you go here, you have your closed done tickets here as the end user as well. If I go to one that's like relatively old, like this one from almost a month ago, anything older than 15 days does have a sanity check on it for the end user, so that it's like, "Hey, this is, we've archived this, it's older than 15 days. Do you really need help with this? No, it's something else. Yes, continue this."
Okay. So it does prompt the the end user for that. And that can be actually helpful because if it's a recurring issue, then it can be triggered instead of a separate email. Then we can lose that history for us and then for the technician that's working on it if it's a different one.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I have that note here for our dispatcher, Sherry. I'll let her know. Awesome.
Well, it's been fun. Thank you guys for all of your time. I appreciate y'all having us here.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us and sharing this. Like as you guys saw, right? This is all these tools that with the reason we bring these vendors is to elevate the things that we're doing with right now with our clients and with our tools, and that's the beauty of the ecosystem. You take ConnectWise, and that is your core and how you can make things better. So John did mention that there's certain things in ConnectWise, like your tickets are not real time as you're updating. So now a tool can elevate that experience for your technicians and for your clients. You can get that real-time response, real-time experience that elevate that interaction with your customers, and then providing a great customer experience, which is more than just that CSAT. That CSAT usually it's like Bobby said, it's like after the fact. Yeah, my problem was resolved. I'm cool. I'm going to give you a great review, or maybe it took too long. I'm going to give you a bad review. But how difficult it was to engage with company X, with your technicians, and how easy was the interaction. That's what we're looking for. Definitely people do. I know with the introduction of Teams and all that, people are more responsive to that ding or that notification on your Teams rather than an email. Sometimes I get a Teams message saying, "Did you get my email?" So because obviously I did not see it because I'm focused on something else. So that's great. It's how we can elevate and make that experience with our clients better, and that leads to retention and great feedback and referrals and growing our company. So it's all compounds in there. So thank you so much. As a reminder, this session, it is recorded, so I will send out a follow-up email to everybody who attended, and for if anybody missed this session, we'll share their recording. So if it's something that you think is going to apply to somebody else in your organization, feel free to share that, and I'll send also some follow-up information from you guys, and I'll put it in there. One final thing, like who in here is going to MSP Geek? Anybody actually going to MSP Geek in the group? If you are, Sean said to get in contact with him. So thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it. So if you're going to MSP Geek, get in contact with Sean. Maybe he's buying drinks there too. He just said let everybody know that just get in contact with me, so you can get in touch with him. There's his LinkedIn profile. Also, for if you're not on the Slack, I'm going to post the link for the Slack group in there, so you can stay up to date. And anybody here going to Secure next month? You can just raise your hand. You don't have to get unmuted. There you go, Martin. We'll see you there. Definitely. So we'll probably do a meetup for the different groups. So either on the Slack or on the emails, just keep your eye on that, so we can get together and chase down Bobby or Sean, so they can buy us some beverages. So, all right, we are a few minutes past, but I do really appreciate everybody taking some time out of your day to join us. And I will send up a follow-up email with this recording and all the information. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.